Carolina is clapping back at our social posts.
She is live and locked in on our social posts right now.
It's funny to watch her
crash out. Hello and welcome to the Betchelor podcast. I am Kay York City.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Kay York. We are taping on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, Kay.
I know. Happy Valentine's Day. It's do you have a Valentine, or can we disclose?
No,
yes, no?
There's no
I mean, same.
It is nice to say Happy Valentine's Day to people. Like, look, you smiled a little bit. It's nice. You kind of change people's day when they don't expect it. I think it's nice.
Cute. It's cute.
I was talking to my brother came out to me as an anti-Valentine's Day guy. I called him. We were on the phone earlier. Today, I go, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? He goes, not in my house. I was like, really? And he went into this.
We need to ask the wife.
That was the thing. I go, really? Is it? He goes, from the get-go, he goes, I've established he goes, every day is, he kind of went, every day is Valentine's Day in this house. A lot of these people start to sound like anti-vaxxers, you know, when they get into the, like, they have like lines ready, right? Like, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, who has the energy to be against Valentine's Day? Like, I kind of have a policy of like, I'm going to lay in the river and let me float away. Like, whatever it is, I'm okay, right?
It doesn't really affect me. I mean, it's not like I feel any other type of way. Yeah, say it to we have the Galentines and everything. I mean, I'm not.
And it kind of has to do with our episode recap today. Like, it feels like on the show and on Valentine's Day, there's this like judgment, but no judgment. And you're not sure if someone does it one way, am I wrong for doing it my way?
Right.
And everyone's noticing, but no one cares. I don't know. I'm in Rambletown.
There's a lot of pressure too on, especially the guys. I saw this TikTok last night. And it was this girl just videoing all these guys. It's like a line of like 20 guys at Trader Joe's, all with bouquets of flowers in their hands. And people are like cooking them in the comments. Yeah. And like being like, please let this love never find me. Like the guy who's standing in line at Trader Joe's with the flowers.
A Trader Joe's bouquet.
Yeah, I mean, that's... But I guess, it's the effort that counts, but...
Right.
They're getting cooked.
You take off the tag, dude. I don't know. So, okay, let's talk about The Bachelor. I have a question for you. So I guess this is what I was kind of hinting at.
Sure.
Is it weird that I'm confused? Like,
no.
Is this like doctorate level girl drama that's going on in this season of The Bachelor?
It feels very trivial, but in a confusing way. I totally understand what you're saying. Like the arguments that are happening and also the people who are sticking up for who is really interesting to see what's happening there. Like with Dina sticking up for Carolina. And then we see a preview for next week's episode. And then Dina's the one yelling at Carolina. So I agree. Right. There's something very amiss going on. And I also am struggling to care enough. I feel like I don't care about any of these girls. I don't know. I'm struggling to get behind any of the arguments and the petty drama.
This kind of brings us back to last week's episode of The Betchelor. And we got feedback that we got it wrong because Grant did say, so we should like acknowledge.
I'm going to own it when I'm wrong. And I do have an apology to make, but I do want to keep in mind that it's like sorta. I sort of got it wrong. So with the Grant and Rose situation, when Rose went to Grant and he was doing his apology tour after he had like the full makeout scene on the stage with Carolina, Rose went to Grant and Grant did say, like when we were up on stage dancing and everything, like I was thinking about you. So he did say that. He absolutely said that, but I do think that there was like a gross misunderstanding in that phrase because he did not say, when I was dancing with Carolina, I was thinking about you. And that's kind of how it came off. And so that's why I was like, yeah, he definitely didn't say that, but he did say like, I was thinking about you, but this was just to like reassure her in a way.
Listen, I don't think you have anything to apologize about. We went based on the information we had. And then they found the tape, like as we know, Bachelor Nation will find the tape.
They will.
So we taped this show, before the episode comes out. We get the screeners. As we said, we're taping this on Valentine's Day. And then we went based on what we had in the show. Listen, the show could have shown us him saying that and actually could have been a good show for one fucking time.
Yeah,
they didn't really
go do a whole where they do the
flashback.
Going back and the flashbacks, and it's in black and white, and you see him saying they didn't do that.
Right.
And so
we went based on the information we had. Then we find new information. The new information would surprise me. So the new information that we got, which was old information, but we find the tape of him saying, "I was thinking of you all. We were dancing on stage." The way it was reported to Grant was that and I made a TikTok about this afterwards, just so I got all these messages, and because I was annoyed.
So many DMs.
But I'm not annoyed to find out that we got more information. The more information just influences my opinion, which has now changed, because if we're going to be human about this, if we're going to be rational human beings, and what people do is people like to make people evil. If your goal is to find out who the evil person is, you're going to be too emotional to kind of have a rational answer to your question.
Opinion, yeah.
Because right, the rational opinion, we will find an evil person. We do have a villain. But if you follow this out, if you actually walk this out, Grant says to Rose, "I was thinking of you while dancing on stage," to reassure her that she is someone he is thinking about and is taking seriously in this competition. So then off camera, Rose says something to Carolina along the lines of, and we don't know this conversation because we don't have it on tape, of Grant was thinking of me while dancing on the stage. Now, did Rose say he said that he was thinking of me while dancing with you, which would be not true? We don't know. But based on everything we've watched, the idea that Carolina, who has made this whole show about her, would then take Rose, confiding in a friend of her insecurities and feeling okay, he's taking me seriously because he said he was thinking of me while we were dancing, and making that about her is not a very big stretch.
No, of course. This very much tracks, because Rose could have said to Carolina, first she said in private, she could have been yeah, Grant was, Grant said he was thinking about me while he was dancing on stage. But what Carolina heard was Grant was thinking about Rose while he was dancing with me, as if she was the only person that he danced with, as if she was the only person dancing on stage.
Which I could understand her doing because she felt attacked by the other people about dancing with Grant on stage. So there is a rational way where we get to this semi-lie. But then what was so weird to me is Bachelor Nation, or this group of people, look at Grant being so defensive. Wouldn't you be defensive?
Yeah.
You know that you have your reputation's on the line, and you're being told you said something that you didn't say. You said, "I was thinking of you while dancing." I didn't say those are two very different
completely
statements.
Different things. Completely different things.
With very different consequences.
Yes. I would have clocked that if he said, "While I was dancing with Carolina, I was thinking about you." We would have brought that up. That would have been talked about from the jump. If he said that, because I'd be wait till Carolina watches this back.
Right. This is messy. But
he didn't say that. So I was I don't even remember this happening, because that's how insignificant it was.
Right. And that's the thing that's that it makes me annoyed at the Bachelor audience, because they really do. There's a lot of people that and again, I feel this as a guy. I'm Grant, and I'm not saying Grant's a hero, but let's not make him the evil monster just because he's defensive. Of course, I would be defensive. I just don't. So that whole thing was a mess. But we're here talking about it now because, listen, you watch this episode and it's it seems we're probably right. Carolina seems to make this show about her. This is the Carolina show. The other women seem just they've had it with her, and that's kind of the confusing part to me, because I'm it seems as though the other women are mad because Carolina comes back and talks about being on the show and hating being on the show while they're all on the show. So they feel judged by Carolina for like having like playing along. It's like Carolina kind of like reminds me of like the negative person on the dating app whose profile is like very negative about dating apps. It's like,
yeah,
but you're here. Like all her prompts are like about like, don't tell
you're
people
not
we've
better
met
than
here.
Me. Yeah.
Right. You're here with us. So like, I do think it feels from my angle, and I am confused that the other women feel like, because they're like, she's talking so negatively about the process. And like, she's talking negatively about like, I don't know if I could fall in love with Grant. I'm going to introduce him to my parents. And it's like, well, I guess that's what I would understand like another woman in the house being like, well, yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, do you think I'm like an idiot?
Aren't we all doing that?
Right. Like, I know we've met once, but like, that's the crazy part here. There are also cameras here. I think Carolina, like, shit talking the show that she is currently on as if she's better than the show that everyone else is on is why they don't really like her.
And we see it so much. We see it so much this episode, especially. And I was like, God, this girl's giving me the ick. And like to a point where she's making me feel bad about watching the show and liking the show. I was like, fuck, should I not be watching this?
You like the show I'm on?
Yeah. I was like, I thought the outfits were cute when they were in their little like mad. I was like, love those.
I thought they were hot too.
She's like, Spirit Halloween. I'm like, I am going to buy that because I thought it was cute. Zoe looked amazing. But this is a great segue into our Bachelor News Desk.
Let's go to the Bachelor News Desk. In Bachelor News, we have become the Bachelor News Desk. Carolina is clapping back at our social posts.
She is live and locked in on our social posts right now.
It's funny to watch her like
crash out.
Well, I'm not going to accuse anyone of crashing out. I will say she kind of like makes our point. Like It doesn't seem like she's like telling us she's not the mean girl while being the mean girl in the comments, like saying the things the mean girl would say. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Very much so.
So do we want to like go through it? So we have a clip that was up from our last episode. What was the clip about? We had a clip about her, they're taking time off from The Bachelorette. And I was saying that if I was on a producer on the show and I found out Carolina was the Bachelorette, I would quit the show.
You'd be like, this sucks. Like, I'm out. Pissed. I'm out. Very much so.
So then she commented back, so you think I should have just been a good girl and stayed for a man that was potentially doing me dirty just because he's the Bachelor, with a heart blushing face emoji. Mm-hmm. What do you think that's about? Well, I mean,
I don't know. I don't think the first comment has a lot to do with anything. It kind of felt like it was out of nowhere. The second comment, I think, is when we like get into it.
So then I posted a video on my TikTok, and it was explaining what we're talking about here, like saying like, hey, based on the information of like knowing that he was told I was thinking of you while dancing on stage, like the only villain that could come from this to me is Carolina. Like,
yeah.
Based on like, okay, like if there was a miscommunication, it seems as though the person who was personally offended by the comment made it into a comment that would be personally offensive to them. And she commented, my guy. Is that what she wrote? My guy?
Yeah, my guy. Or my guy. Rose even admitted to it on the show. Did you not watch the episode? Still doesn't make her a bad person. Just miscommunication all around. Let it rest.
Let it rest is what the person who is being the asshole would say.
Or losing the argument. Deeply,
right. What's to let rest? Because I was just saying, like, let it rest. Like, no, we discussed the show, and I'm telling you what I think happened on the show. So I said, at first I didn't know it was her, and I wrote, you seem to not have listened to the whole video because, like,
yeah, that's what this was.
And then I wrote, wait, and then I saw it was her. I go, never mind. I stand by what I said. Good luck on the show. I do wish her bad.
Took me out. You're like, you know what? Never mind. Good luck on the show.
Good luck. Because I really like. My first thing I was like, she's like, still, did you watch not watch the episode? Still doesn't make her a bad person. I'm like, I don't think Rose is a bad person at all.
We didn't say Rose is a bad person.
I think this is someone who like was, yapping with her friend, and then the friend went and like kind of like betrayed
somebody else
her a little
into
bit.
the yap, and that wasn't supposed to be there.
She mixed yaps.
Yeah, so, you can't cross yaps. No.
Yeah, there was a cross yap yapization. So that is our Bachelor news. She did respond to me.
She did
said,
respond. I feel like we need to read this last response.
Okay, what is her response?
The response says, I did. You're suggesting that Rose didn't say he was thinking of her specifically while with me. She did mention my name. That is what she understood, he said. Hope that helps, King. Heart. The king at the end is crazy.
The king stuff.
Does
that make
crazy.
People feel like they won when they do that type of stuff? Like
when you're like baby girl, honey, or like it's sort of like a slight, but it's a nice word, but they mean it in like a derogatory way, like very derog. But
right, us discussing the word, I think, takes away a lot of the pain of being called king. But yeah.
But here's my thing about the Bachelor contestants. I do feel like we've talked about this before. At this point, they are so online and they are so aware of everything. And so they are commenting on these like very niche videos. I mean, they're probably getting served that it's TikTok, but they are commenting and interacting. And even in her last comment when she's like, she did say my name. None of us heard that. None of us saw that. Don't come in here and start talking about your version of the context and what actually happened, because we didn't see that. So why would we talk about that? If that was the truth, then we would have mentioned it, but we didn't see it.
This is the thing. I don't know, and I feel for anyone, because like listen, I'm sensitive too. Like I would not want to watch these videos. I don't like going on Reddit. I'm with them. So like I do understand feeling, but like they have to understand, like, we have a show that dissects the show. We have only the show to watch.
It is our job.
It is our job.
It is our job.
And here's the other thing. We have to go based on the show we are shown. Like, she's saying she did say my name. No, she didn't. We have no edit that includes that. So like, I don't know. I do understand her feeling a certain type of way, because I would feel a certain type of way to have people dissect my life, but I don't think this helps her case. I don't think this, like, and especially with last night's episode, which it was a tough watch again. Like, it's just like, it's a lot of Carolina. It's a lot of crying. It's a lot of like, and also I don't think Grant has any control over this show at this point.
No,
like,
I also don't think he knows actually what's going on. I don't think Grant is aware of any of this.
I'm watching the show and I don't know what's going on. Like, I do think this is doctorate level girl drama. Like, it does feel that way a lot of time. Like, that's why I started this. Like, I don't feel, and usually I can like have an idea or have like an opinion, but like, because it's all like it feels as though the argument is about this aura of judgment. And he's also getting rid of all the fun people and keeping the serious people.
So quick.
Like, so quick. So like, we're getting this like very serious, like passive aggressive vibe. And it's like, I don't know, like I just want to have fun in Madrid with these people. I do like drama. I think we're sitting in a boiling pot right now. Like, it's really brewing. Like, and
we're flying
this
way
like,
too close to the sun with this drama.
Right. I maybe that's why they took a production break from The Bachelorette. They were like, we need a break. Like, this was like a lot, because
the mental health is deteriorating probably on the production cast.
Right. Because we start the episode, Jesse's like, we're leaving the house. We're going to Madrid, which is like kind of a pleasure. Like, I'm like ready to leave the house. Madrid is, it's not like one of these, like, sometimes they go to these places that I'm like, he says the name and they all cheer, and I'm like, I have to look it up on a map. No one here
I don't know where that is.
Right. Right. I'm excited to see Madrid. It's kind of like Barcelona's like the place people vacation, and Madrid is like the place that you don't hear about it. So I'm like, okay, let's see Madrid. So they go to live like locals, And on this, like, he goes over to the women, and they're all having sangrias in pint glasses. They look like the least
glasses,
fun.
Yeah.
They were like the least fun sangria I have ever seen.
I know.
That was my first. I'm looking at these. I'm like, can you put one lemon wedge or something fun in those?
Yeah, something.
They look like Robitussin. It was like crazy.
It was a tough look. I don't know. I would have been like, you know what? Just give me a glass of red or like just some normal wine. Is in a normal wine glass is okay.
Yeah, like something.
It's like mulled wine that they got in the middle of Madrid.
Right. So then he comes over and they have this like, and all the women, let me just say, look amazing. Like they are it is quite a group. And
that is never the problem. The women look good.
Gorgeous. And he's like, Dina, you're coming with me. What did you think of him going with Dina?
I mean, from the second he said Dina's name, I was like, ugh. Mm-hmm. Because we were like, this girl is serious. I knew this date wasn't going to be super fun and interactive and like jokey. This was going to be like, I'm an attorney and we're going to do these things and we're going to be serious. And it kind of was a serious date. There was no fun or silliness to it. It was like, let's write some wishes down on a piece of paper and we both have the same
The kids
outcome.
Are going to teach us about love again. We're going to play soccer. I have to say, Grant does not want a woman who laughs. It seems like it seems he wants to have like a leader of the house. Like I think Grant wants to be told what to do. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because Dina seems nice and she's beautiful, but it's like, and she's even like, you can even tell on this date, and it kind of like came across to me that like she is doing everything she can to loosen up. Like
I know
she is like, and she even acknowledges that she can be an ice queen, and like she's even as she says it though, I'm like, this woman really is like, this is her. Like I was like, this is like not who she's going to be when they get married. Like I was like, there's going to be a moment where like they're dating, if they're dating, when if this is who he chooses, that he's like what happened to Dina in Madrid? It's like no, that was a version where I was like,
she was trying really hard for that.
Right, that is no. This is Dina from Chicago who wants to know where we're going for dinner this weekend on a Monday. Like, yeah, it's like this isn't. Yeah. This isn't. We're not gonna we're not. Our weekends are planned and full.
Booked, everything. I mean,
right.
She does feel very like wound up. And I mean, even when they get into the rowboat, she's like, she's like, do you know how to row a boat? And he's like, I don't know, I'm figuring it out. And then she's like, it's taking everything in my power not to help you right now. And I'm like, girl, sit back.
Right.
Chill.
Hey,
who cares?
That was the moment where I'm like, this is like, when people are like, you don't tell, there's a very, like, you don't reveal the crazy until like whatever, until you're in the relationship. Like, it's kind of like, it's eye-rolly talk when it comes to dating. It feels like she is very much not like, we are getting the tip of the Dina iceberg. Like, I don't, that rowboat thing when she's like, I'm doing, like, what are you going to help him with? What do you, like, do you want to row? And honestly, I'd be like, yeah, you row the boat. I'll sit here and hold an umbrella.
Like,
yeah. Like
I do think I don't think it helps either that every time Grant is asked what he's looking for, it is always a wife and a mother to his children. Right. That there's no like, I'm looking to have fun with somebody. I'm looking for a partner to like explore life with, or to, do, he's never talking about that. It is always very serious. Like, I want a wife and I want the mother of my children. And so even in response, she was like, that's exactly what I want. I want to be a wife and I want to be a mother. So how do you have fun when those are your expectations?
Yeah. The more we meet Grant, I'm like, I don't know if Grant, like, I don't know. I don't know. I have trouble relating to Grant because I'm like, it doesn't seem like he wants to marry his friend.
No.
Like
he wants to marry the mother of his future children, and that's
right.
That's
who's going to run the show.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because like even the people he has fun with, he sends them home. Like he does have fun with everybody, but he's like every time he sends people home, I'm like more shocked than the last week. I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, who are the other women staying? You know, like
I don't know.
Yeah, we're down to this like it feels like the season's moving quickly,
very fast. We're only on episode 4.
It's and we're losing people that I'm like, didn't he like have a really nice time with her? Like,
yes.
Didn't they make out 5 minutes ago? Like
Natalie, I was shocked when Natalie went home.
We're losing people left and right. Mm-hmm. It feels like every 5 minutes he's on a date with someone making out and then they're sent home. Like it just is. There's no rhyme or reason, but you're right. Maybe the rhyme or reason is wife and mother. That's above all else. That's
all he cares about. And it's all
fun doesn't matter.
No, it's all we've heard, which kind of like gives, like, if I were one of the girls and I'm hearing all this all the time, it would kind of give me the ick. Like, am I only a vessel and and to have
I guess if you're looking for, and you can see the people that he's like zoning in on, like they're kind of like Carolina, the way she's acting is very like, I want to be, I want my life organized. And he is like looking for a woman who wants organized life. Like Dina, Dina on this date presents like, I'm ready for someone to move into this slot of my life and we will be a couple. And it's just like, there's no, friendship. No. We are just getting married and then we'll have children and then we will live together. Like it's not very.
I think Dina and Carolina, though, are exact opposites because I think Dina is going to be the one who kind of runs the relationship, is like head of household, if you will. But I think Carolina wants this life, but she wants to be passenger princess. Like Grant, I think, is not realizing that this is the Carolina show. Everything is about her. So he needs to be catering to her all the time. Right. The second he's like, can you make the dinner reservation? She's going to be like, so you don't love me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So you hate me. That's what it's going to be. But Dina be like, yep, I got it. I'm on it. Whatever. I think they're two very different people. And he's not clocking that.
Interesting. Because then, so Dina gets the rose at the end of the date. They discuss splitting the relationship 50-50. Even that conversation is like very much organizational, very much how we going to, it's just very much wife and mother. Yeah. It's all that.
He also dies on the hill of strong, independent woman. He said that so many times. He goes, yeah, you seem like a very strong, independent woman. Your mom seems like a very strong, independent woman. So that's all he wants. He wants somebody who can take care of themselves, which explains this should be 50-50. He's like, I want somebody who is able to like do their own stuff, but like we should definitely be splitting all of this. It shouldn't just be me.
Right. It is so that's why this show is so great, because you're like, Grant, even as the lead, we're like, what's up with this dude? Like we're watching his love, kind of like his version of what love is, like develop as we go along. Because we go back to the apartment. Carolina's complaining about wanting more time with Grant in front of all the women who haven't had a one-on-one. And this is where it gets to, like, why are they annoyed with her? Why are they getting angry with her? And it's like, why would someone who clearly hates the premise of this show come on this show in the first place? What do you think Carolina saw from this show to come on it anyways? Like, she has acknowledged. Every time she complains about the show, she acknowledges what the show is. So she kind of like, she takes away all debate. Like it's like a good debater. She's like, I know what the show is. I know I'm complaining about the show, but the show is horrible. And I should be pursued more than these other women if he actually likes me. And it's like, well, and he even says it later. He's like, it's not fair for me to not go on a date head first with all of the people I go on dates with, for me to make sure that I like you. It's not fair to you as far as how this process is concerned. Right. And he's right. Why would she come on the show, you think?
I don't know. It's very interesting that she does bring up all of this stuff. about how she knows how the show works. But it's interesting when she brings it up because she'll do it here and there with the girls, but it is usually in the moment interviews when production is right across in her confessionals, when the production's right across from her asking these questions, they're probably like, God damn it, shut up. Like every time she's like, this outfit, this is like Spirit Halloween. It looks like Grant has more budget. It looks like this. Like, I don't know why I'm on a date. Like, of course I love sharing him with all these other girls and is like looking directly at them. It's, right. I can't think of a reason other than, I mean, I don't want to say that there's like a ploy, like to launch her into another show, into the Paradise or into like the Bachelorette lead, because with these kind of remarks, you're not going to that, like you're not moving on. So I don't know what the end game is here.
Yeah. And if you go to her TikTok, which I did only because she commented on mine and I didn't know who it was, she has a video pinned where she's doing woman on the street videos, and she's asking people, who's more dramatic, men or women? And I'm like, that's a video where it's like you wanted to go viral. So like,
it's rage.
I'm not right, and it's like I'm not one to like. I know I do think like when I think of like why people come on the show, I don't like when people are like, they're only here to like get a following and go home. And it's like, well, I think they're here for a fun time. If I was to think of like why anyone with like normal human aspirations are going, I want to have fun. If I fall in love, that's cool. If I make friends, that's cool. If I get a following, that could be fun because I already have like 6,000 followers because I'm like pretty hot and I'm a big personality.
It's a once in a lifetime type of situation. Like if you got offered this and maybe you're not doing anything right, why not? Like why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, I have a lot of I tend to defend. I'm with you. Like I defend the people who go on this show. I don't think they're like bad actors. But when you go to Madrid and you're on a donkey complaining about the other women who are with your guy on a show where 30 women date one guy, like it would be miserable to be around. Like I'm miserable. Like I would like I'd be like, hey, we're in Madrid for free. Like like
if it's free, it's for me. I'm gonna be there.
So it is. I could understand like, and the more this goes on, the more I like Latia because her commentary has been like pretty dead on. At first, I was like, I don't know about this chick. I like her. I think
I do too.
She's serious, but she's like serious in the like more relatable. Like she's going with the flow, but I can tell she does want to like be a wife and a mother. Like that's both are good, but she's becoming friends with the women. She's giving herself to the game. She's getting to know him where she can. And it's
she's like committing to the bit.
Yes. And Latia's doing it in a way that like Carolina just like physically can't. Like just like it feels like it like, and you can read it all over her face because we go on the group date and they're going to ride donkeys in Madrid. I don't think any people live in Madrid anymore. It seems that this or whatever town they went to like has zero human.
Chinchon. Chinchon.
Is Chinchon the city, like the lost city of Atlantis? Because there's no one there.
There's no one there.
Wasn't it weird? There was not one person.
In the stadium when they did the bull thing, they're like, we have people coming out. And it's like 5 people that they probably paid off of the street. Be like, please come to this.
One guy was on his phone. He's literally on his phone while they're doing their thing. Like they were like, it just felt like they found people during the siesta. Like, were they out during the siesta? Like, is that what was going on? It must have been.
I don't know, but it did seem very abandoned.
It was right. It was like, what happened here? It was very much out of
time.
Right. So they go and do the donkey ride in Chinchon, and it seems that like people aren't happy to be on the group date, but Carolina's like letting it be known. Her donkey's behind everyone. She loves rolling. She's just rolling her eyes at everything. And they go
the whole thing. They go with the first female matadora, and they're going to teach them how to bullfight,
which I thought, again, I'm with you. I thought the costumes were fun.
Zoe walked out and I was like, she looks great. She had the whole thing, had the entire like top get up. I was like, this is so fun. Like I love a theme or a costume or a bit. I love all of that. But I mean, how shitty would it be to be around somebody when you're in this beautiful place for free and all they're doing is complaining? I would lose my mind.
Right. And they do like this bull. They're teaching, like, even like, I thought it was nice that Latia like kisses him while he's doing the bull thing. Like, I was like, yeah, that's what you do. That's the show. You're showing him you're trying, you're pushing, you're putting yourself out there. And then, Zoe wins extra time with Grant via the bull riding competition, which I thought was fun.
Longest. I did.
Stayed on the.
I've never done that. Have you done a mechanical bull?
I have done a mechanical bull. I did one in Columbus, Ohio recently. When I was in Columbus, they have like a bull riding bar right near where the comedy club. I do have a video. I can show you the video. I have a video. I'll send it. We can put it on the YouTube. I was with Rachel from Betches and her husband, and they came to the show, and then I was like, I'm getting on that bull, and it's not easy. It is not. It's fun. It's like one of those things where you're like, it does make you. So they do like a bull riding event. They just came to Madison Square Garden, and like they said that like I met someone who went, and they were like, it was the best time. They like loved every second of it. Yeah, like it's like a PBA, I think it is, Pro Bull Riding Association, whatever. They say the events are like awesome. And like people dress up, they're in like the boots and the cowboy hats, even in like Madison Square Garden. Like I think that's so cool.
See, it's one of those things to me where I see it and I'm like, I could do that. It's like watching gymnasts and I'm like, how hard? Like when you wake up in the morning, you're like, I can do a back handspring.
Absolutely,
I could do this. But then you get on it and it's a very different story. So I need to ride the bull. I need to see the video of you riding the bull.
I'll send it to you. We'll put it on the YouTube. We can add it to this video. If you guys listen, we're on YouTube. You can watch on Betches' YouTube channel. So then we go to the cocktail party, and Grant gives Parisa rocks for her collection. And it's like,
it's so cute. I love I just want to say that I love Parisa. I think she is such a breath of fresh air on this season, where she's just like in the bathroom and she's like, ugh, I burnt my neck with the curling iron and it's like bubbling up. I hope it goes away. Anyways, I love rocks. It just so carefree, and it kind of makes me like, I'm able to like breathe a little bit and touch back down in reality. Like, this isn't that serious.
Right.
I love her.
That. She's been great. The whole rocks thing. She's also like the most Birmingham, Michigan woman I have ever seen on TV. Like that. She's just like, she's got the accent. Like, just the way I've been to Birmingham. My family's from Detroit, and I'm like, I've met that person before. She's beautiful. She's like, but it's and she's got to be tall. Every time I see her, I'm like, you must be very tall.
I think so. But I just love her.
Yeah, she's been cool. And Grant and Rose clear the air, kind of. I think Rose kind of like definitely felt that Grant kind of can't trust her based on this conversation.
Yeah.
I think which like I felt for Rose, because now when we see what he said to her, and we're not sure what she said to Carolina, but it felt like Rose, her time is done. Like you could feel it. I thought from this conversation, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't feel positive, and just like her whole demeanor the rest of the time. I mean, imagine waking up after all of that, and then it's like getting in an argument with your significant other, or like when you're not staying in the same house, and then you're like, and you have this like sick in your gut feeling about how it's going to turn out. It very much makes me think of like Rachel Kirkconnell and, going out to dinner and like having this like weird interaction, and then you don't know what's actually going on, and then it's bad news at the end. It's I very much feel for her, and especially her choice later when she wants to go home.
Right. So Zoe opens up about why she's so stoic, and Zoe Dina, Latia, they all have this a little bit like guarded. They're all like kind of feel like they're on a mission. And, you know, she talks about being adopted and being black in the South and feeling like she wasn't beautiful. It's a really nice conversation. Like, the more we get to know Zoe, the more I like think back to her like stealing him away and how kind of awkward that was. And it kind of fits her strangely.
Absolutely.
You know, like it wasn't.
I do think she is slightly socially awkward in general and might not read cues correctly.
I am
sometimes.
with you. I am with you 1,000%. I kept thinking, I was like, and like, I'm not one to like I generally, that's not one where I'm like, I just don't like when people like self-diagnose, like, you know, like, and then tell you like, oh, I'm awkward because I'm this way. It's like, well, be awkward and we'll see what happens. And it feels like, and that's why I kind of like have come to like Zoe, where she's like,
I have too.
She like, this wasn't her, like, she never came out and was like, well, I'm a little awkward, so that's why I'm going to do this. Like, she defended herself. She's like, I'm just trying to go for the guy. And like, the more we get to know her, the more you're like, yeah, I do believe her. Like, I think this is exactly
I believe
who
her,
she
and
is.
I like her, and I like her more each time, and I'm less annoyed with Zoe. Every time I'm like, wow, yeah, I do like her, especially after this one-on-one time that she had with him, where they were talking about all this stuff, because definitely parts of that that I can relate to in general. And I am warming up to Zoe a lot, and a lot of this also makes sense now.
Well, and also, like, if we have to compare, like, you know, like Carolina, who might be listening to like and getting angry at us, it's
right
like,
now.
We're not
she's fuming if she's hearing this episode.
Well, we're not being mean for the sake of being mean. We're watching people on TV, and we're kind of like getting to know them, and you know, we're gonna be like honest and give critiques and like give our theories, but like, you know, this is kind of like the different. I was like thinking like Zoe versus Carolina, because they're both kind of accused of the same things, of like stealing time from the rest of the women. But the rest of the women seem to be like cool with Zoe. Like it went away.
Now they are.
Right.
Now
and that's because like Zoe's being like, I'm sure the women just like us are like, oh, that's kind of who she is, and it wasn't really meant to like it wasn't like this like there's no levels to it. There's no layers to it. That's just who she is. There's no lie. With Carolina, like, I can understand where like I'm being lied to. I'm being told that I'm an awful person while she's on a show with me and thinks I'm a loser for maybe introducing this guy to my parent. You know, like there's like so many layers to Carolina, and like I understand why they are turned off by her and have come to like Zoe, it seems.
I also think that it's never too late to change somebody's opinion, like just like we've been talking about with Zoe. And I do think that if Carolina would have responded to those videos in a more like laughing at herself way, we'd be like, yeah, I mean, whatever. But it seems so it's still, everything stayed on track to who she is, which I guess I respect. I mean, if that's who you are, then I guess that's who you are. And, you know, to each their own.
So then Juliana, who has been ever present, Juliana and Alex have been ever present on the show, but don't seem to have connected with Grant as much as some of the other women, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Alex was her and Grant were like two peas in a pod. The first two episodes, obviously, got the first impression rose, and she went on the first date. But Juliana is still there. I do think that every time that they have a conversation and that they are together, it feels supernatural. And I think I also, they stay out of the drama in general. I mean, until this episode, but I do like Juliana a lot, but I wish we were getting more from her in some way. But I guess it's hard because there's so much drama to deal with that we don't get a chance to see anyone else.
I'll say this. Juliana, to me, is like the hottest woman on earth. I am like, I am like, her personality, she seems fun. She seems to get it. Like if I was to say like who would be the Bachelorette next, like who I would want, she is it for me.
She's cool. She seems cool. Like, I feel like I would be friends with her.
I totally think you guys would be friends. So she, like, you can tell Juliana, like, is like a little bit Mother Goose to like the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm going to go take Carolina outside to address why she's still here. And Juliana, I trust as that person. Like, I kind of trust her to like have that conversation with Carolina. It doesn't go well. So this conversation actually confused me even more. Like, I was like, I don't know if Juliana like has something to like say. She like didn't nail down what she wanted to say to Carolina. It was very much spoken in like overarching themes. Like, she's like, but it did seem as though Juliana was trying to get at like, you're on this show with us. You keep talking shit about the show. Why are you here? And Carolina just ices her out. Like, I was like, ooh, like I felt. What did you think of this conversation with Carolina?
I do think that Juliana was not prepared enough in her talking points for this conversation because we know Carolina's going to have exactly the right thing to say or is going to be able to defend herself in any which way.
Right.
But Juliana was more of talking like as a group, like she was trying to be the spokesperson. Like, we just think, we feel, or we're seeing this as, and Carolina's like, but what does that have to do like with me?
Right.
I mean, in general. And then she was like, well, just as the group, it doesn't feel like you're, and she goes, this has nothing to do with the group. This is my experience and how I'm feeling. Right. So, end of story. I mean, Carolina turned Juliana every which way but loose.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I was like, okay, good. Like, I was like, good. She's taking her outside. She's going to let her know. And then it was like a TKO, total knockout. Like, and Carolina's very much like, it's my bat, it's my ball, I'm going home. Like, it's like, you can't really refute what she's saying. She's like, no. So what? This is how I'm playing the show. This is what I'm doing.
What now? Right. Anyways, I'm going back in. Bye. Right. Pulls up her like gloves and leaves.
She had gloves on. She had
she had gloves on.
She's wearing literally Cruella DeVille's costume and like
puffy, and pink.
She is all the drama, and it's like, so Grant comes in to give the group rose and doesn't give it because there's drama. Basically, like, Carolina's crying, so he's like, there's like accusations being thrown around, and he's like, no group date rose, which is insane to me. Like, I just think
I was about to ask you, what would you do in this situation? Do you think he should have just given out a rose and gotten it over with?
I don't know what he should do. I don't think
that makes it worse, is not giving out a rose.
Like, you had no good interactions with anyone today. Like, you and
just
Parisa,
one person was crying.
Right. Like, and it's like, so you want to make sure that, like, I'd be annoyed as like the other women, because it's like he's treating Carolina with like kids' gloves. Like, it feels as though she is like, I would feel about Carolina in this situation, like, you do kind of like treat her as like a ticking time bomb. You're like, I just don't want her to freak out, so I'm going to make everyone out. Like, I'm going to like make it easy on everyone by not giving out a rose. Like, I actually think this is like, it is a thing, like, where I'd be like, let's just everyone be cool. If I do this, she might freak out. So I'm just going to like not upset her and instead upset everyone.
You're so right.
He goes on a date with Serafina, who blew me away. I have to say.
Me too.
She was awesome. She was funny. She like was cool. Like, they're talking about bungee jumping in the rain. I don't know. It
was like, yeah, let's go. No nerves, nothing. I would have been like, hold on. Wait a minute. Like, have you know that video? It's like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Like, I would have been that. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. This will be fun. It's in the rain, calming Grant down. She was a lot cooler than I was expecting. I think she's had like some funny quips here and there. She gagged me last week when she was like, that's the shortest skirt I've ever fucking seen. And I've ever seen in my life.
She's got cool girl energy. She's got I've been the coolest girl in school, in middle school and high school and college, best sorority energy. Not at all. She is I was just like, the whole date I was watching her and I was like, this chick is fun. And to your point about, Parisa, in the same way Parisa is like a breath of fresh air, everyone's super serious, everyone's passive aggressive. And then you go on a date with Serafina and you're like, okay, let's take a minute. It was like a nice cool down.
It was a cool down. I could kick back. I could lean back on my couch instead of sitting forward with tense.
Right.
My hands unclenched, my shoulders relaxed.
Right. I didn't have to take out the math equations of who's angry at who anymore. Yeah. So they bond. They have a dinner date. Grant feels like Serafina hesitates when they kiss, and it's because her mom is watching. She talks, which is hilarious. I've never even heard that mentioned on this show.
Honestly,
and she's
I would
not
think
wrong
about that. Would you? Wouldn't you? I've never been on TV before, but I think about this sometimes. I'm like, my mom's always like, how do I find your... She still doesn't know how to find the podcast, but I was like, it's just, don't worry about that. But I think about what would my mom say if she heard me talking about this, but also kissing on camera.
Sometimes I do. I have a podcast that I have a Patreon podcast that my parents listen to.
Oh, great.
And it's the only thing they listen to. But I'll be on that podcast where I literally am talking directly to them. I'm like, I know you're listening.
Breaks the fourth wall completely.
Legit. I'll be yelling at my parents on my Patreon podcast that people are paying to listen to. And I'm like, I'll then pull back. I'm like, I can't believe I'll say it on the show. I'm like, I can't believe someone's paying. They're like, what does he do on his podcast? Well, the first 10 minutes is him yelling at his parents for calling him fat. And then, it's like,
yeah, you got to address the issues where you don't they can't respond and they're paying. If you're going to bring up something, they should be listening and not being able to respond and paying to hear it.
Right. I agree. And if you want to listen to my Patreon, patreon.com/JaredFreed, $5 a month. I do one podcast a week called Coffee with J Train. This week I told a story about going on a date with this girl, and it's a ridiculous story. This woman fell and I went to help her.
Oh,
and then it was
you fall and then it just
I was trying to help her up, and I'm at the end of this date. I'm I'm having my bachelor moment. I'm gonna kiss this girl. This older woman falls like a tree, literally falls backwards. I thought her head hit the pavement. I go up. I go, "Are you okay?" Oh my God, she's laughing. She's got a cigarette in her hand. She looks like Samantha, from Sex and the City. And I'm trying to help her up, and she's like, "I'm okay," but she wouldn't. When you help someone up, they have to help you help them.
Yeah, you got to bend your knees, lift up.
This woman went full slinky, like a toddler who didn't want to go leave Toys R Us. She totally goes. This is outside of the restaurant where I just had a date. Limp, and I'm helping her up, and I can't get her up, and I start looking at her going, come on, enough already. Get the fuck up. Stop it. I'm yelling at her.
All right.
Enough.
Let's go.
I'm done helping you if you're not going to help yourself. I'm literally in the streets yelling at this woman, all while this girl is just standing over there, on the 6 feet away. So I tell that story.
I would be this. Full videoing this whole thing. I'd be like,
it was
I'll
crazy.
Send you the video. Don't worry, I got it.
Right. It was, and so I help her up, and I'm telling you, so no one's going to sign up for my Patreon, but I'm telling the story now.
They can come for the punchline on the Patreon.
Okay, I'll stop the story. So now let's go back to Grant and Serafina. So they bond over having strong mothers, and Serafina gets the dinner date rose, and I'm happy for her. I'm sitting there thank God a fun person gets a rose. Right. So it should be noted, Grant seems to see a future with every date he goes on. But he also kisses every woman he interacts with.
Everyone. Sometimes we don't get kisses from people, and then I'm like, if you haven't gotten a kiss by, the second or third day, like, babe, you're going home. And at this point, everybody's kissed him. Like, there are sometimes people who haven't kissed him yet at this episode, at this week 4. And I'm like, yeah, they're going home because I don't even know who you are. But it does seem to feel like he is either like giving his all and like he's really just trying to find the person, or he's just like, yeah, I got a bunch of girls. Why wouldn't I kiss them?
Right. To empathize with why he kisses them all, I was thinking, like, would I kiss them all? I would. Like, I'll be done with it. Like, the idea if I kiss at the end of a date doesn't mean I'm definitely going on a second date. Like, I've definitely made out at the end of a first date and been like, let me think about things. Like, so, like, and I think a little bit of it, like, if I'm to be honest, and, like, I know this is, like, a compliment hidden in I'm giving myself a compliment, but, like, it's definitely like the people pleaser in you that you're like,
yeah,
I gotta like do well on this date. Like a kiss means we did well. And that's not a good thing. I'm just like, I think if I was on this, I'd be like, so we're kissing so that I know it went well. You know, like
yeah.
So maybe Grant's doing that a little bit. I don't know.
It could be that. I mean, it could be that. It could just be like, I don't know. I don't think it's wrong to kiss on the end of a first date, even if you're not going to see them again, or like, I don't know.
So we go to the cocktail party and it's tense. It's never not tense. It's always tense. Like, and the girls are feeling uneasy after no one received the group date rose. Grant and Juliana go and talk. Juliana tells Grant that Carolina has been really negative in the house, and it really makes Grant question everything. And it's like, I actually didn't think Juliana told that story straight. Like, it feels, but maybe we don't know. But like, like, to me, Carolina's being negative about the show and like poking. It felt like she was poking holes in the idea of falling in love with someone from this show more than I didn't like Grant from the date. Like, if I'm to defend Carolina,
I agree. I think it's more of like this shit is wild. Like, why would any of you be taking this seriously? Not, I don't actually see Grant as like a person that I could have a future with. I agree with you.
Right. So it didn't feel very fair, but it does feel like Juliana's speaking for all the women as she
on behalf of the group. Mm-hmm. She nailed this one a lot better than she did with Carolina.
She comes talking to Grant with a black eye. What happened? Oh, I just talked to Carolina for 5 minutes and
she punched me with her gloves on. Like,
yeah, Cruella de Vil in there took me out in half a second. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like if I was Juliana, I would have been like, Grant, you're never gonna win an argument for the rest of your life if you marry her.
It's over.
I'm just warning you. Like, that's my warning. That's what I would say.
And there will be an argument every day for the rest of your life.
You will pay for this decision every fucking day. And you know what? You will not only will you have fights, but they will then play the victim after winning the fight. Not only will they beat you in every fight, but then they will tell you how horrific you are for putting them through that. So that's what I would report to him. So then Grant and Carolina get together, and Grant tells Carolina it hurts him that she has doubts. And this is the conversation we referenced earlier. It is he nails it as far as like, I have to be on these dates to make me choose you, is basically the way he plays it, that is the premise of this thing. Like,
the whole point.
Listen, if you want to compare it to real life, like, you meet someone on Hinge, you go out with them, and you're on date 3, and you're having a great time, and then you have this other Hinge date where it's like date 1, and you're like, I really like this date 3 person. Let me go on this date 1, and it makes you like the date 3 person even more to go on date 4. That is something that can happen. I know it's not everyone's dream to hear that it took you to go on, but that happens. So he's not out of line. Then Dina and Carolina, I thought this was weird. It was like,
so weird. I was like, Dina, shut up. This is not what the group wants right now. Like, nobody wants the positivity right now.
And then it was so bizarre because to me, this is my assumption. I think Dina sees cold ice woman acknowledging cold ice woman.
100%.
I think that's what because Dina says, "I see so much of you and me," right? Like she kind of makes the compare that they were so alike, and I don't think Dina's correct. I think that they are two different brands of Ice Woman. And then to me, it should have shown Dina. Like if I was Dina, I'd be like, "Fuck, I made a mistake." Because the minute Dina's like, "I see you," Carolina reacts as if she won the Oscar. Like she then makes it her moment, and like you can see the other women are like, "Fuck this bitch." Like you could see everyone else is not even. Everyone else is just like straight faced, and Dina and her are having this weird, like, it's like villain seeing villain. Like I don't know. It's like people think I have resting bitch face too, and it's like. I don't know if we saw in the previews that this alliance falls apart very quickly, but I just like the way even Carolina responded, like crying, like, finally I have been seen. And like this here, you're like, get off the stage.
It was crazy. I think Dina was thinking she was going to defuse the situation with like Carolina's reaction, just being like, hey, you're being heard. Like, I see you. Like, I can relate. Just putting out there, like, I get it. I understand. Not like anything more than that. And then Carolina's reaction going above and beyond. I mean, that's all Carolina wants. Carolina cares about Carolina. And having someone defend her is exactly what she wanted. And that's why she was so emotional, because she's only caring about herself. She could give two fucks about Dina. And we're going to see that, I think, soon in the very near future.
I was watching this being like, I was just like you. I was mad at Dina for like doing this. And then the reaction from Carolina as if like, see? Like, it was like she was proven right. And you're like, and you could see the other women are like, no, just don't think you're right. Like, please, you're taking all our time. So Rose calls out Carolina like big time. And it's like, it was a very dramatic call out. You did me.
She's like laying
dirty.
In the arms of somebody. She's like in like her mascara, and she's like, "You did me dirty."
And I was felt like she put a spell on Carolina. You did me dirty. It was very.
I understand where she's coming from too. Like I do understand. Like Carolina took the yap to somebody else that she shouldn't have, and things were misconstrued, and it kind of blew up in her face. But I don't know the reaction, and especially this later reaction. Like this should have happened, before. But I guess this might have been like that. It's I guess a few days later. I don't know. Right. It was just a lot to watch this drama. I think she's had a lot of stuff building up.
Rose saw it play out, like tried to play it out. And she saw that she wasn't going to connect with this guy. She's like, let me get out of here. This will be it does feel like Rose just wants people to know that Carolina is like not that great. Like that was like her, not only am I leaving, but let me make sure that the woman that I really don't get along with is I tell America that she's no good is kind of like what it felt like. And
she's like, I might lose the war, but somebody's going to get a black eye coming out of it. Like somebody's going to get something.
So she leaves, and then we go to the rose ceremony.
Also, well, really quick, but her telling Grant that she's leaving, and he's like, okay.
Yeah. Ta-ta! Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, he didn't even for 1 second be like, hey, why are you sure? Like, I want you to stay. There was he was like, all right, well, I understand your decision. Can I walk you out?
Rose is like, I think I'm going to go. Grant's like, yeah, I saw you laugh and have fun earlier. It's okay. You can leave. That's not my type. So
out of here.
Goodbye. Who do you think is playing the best game so far?
I would have to say Latia is playing. I think it's Latia. I mean, she's going along with it. We talked about this before, but she's going along with the whole bit of the show. Is still leading into the serious moments, but is still like hanging with the girls and is still creating those friendships, which I think is kind of vital when staying in the house, because as we've seen in previous seasons, the second you start getting in all these fights, the lead gets mad and it's like, you're causing too much drama. You have to go.
Well, this is also like, it's really tough to be in a house with a bunch of people where you're a miserable fuck all day long and then go on a date with them, on a group date, and then you have to like become a different person. You can't do that. We're seeing that with Carolina. Like, if you're miserable in the house, you got to be miserable on the date. And Latia is like making friends, making connections, and it's like, I'm sure she's fun in the house, and then she can be fun on the date too. So it's like, you can be the best version of yourself if you're always, if that's who you are always. So I'm with you. I think Latia, like, total, for me, 180 as far as like how I felt about her. And that's why we do this show. It's a week-to-week show. We change our opinions as new things come up. Who seems sincere?
I mean, I guess I would have to go with like an Alex or a Latia again. I don't think that any of the girls are insincere about why they're here. Like, truly. I think Carolina's insincere. I feel like she's a little. I do think that she likes Grant, but I don't think that she is at the level that she was talking about. How she was like, I have never felt this way for somebody in this amount of time, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a little overplayed. And also now seeing who she is and how she reacts and her like inner monologue that she's been venting to the producers. It's kind of like, oh, she's here to win.
Right. Okay. So then we go to the rose ceremony. We have roses go to Latia, Juliana, Alex, Zoe, Carolina, and Natalie and Parisa get sent home. Parisa's walk-off is legendary.
I love her. Bring her back.
Legendary walk-off. Because I'm watching her, I'm like, okay, just don't mention the rocks. She's like, did I talk about rocks too much? I'm like, oh, God. Okay, well, don't bring up cats. She's like, at least I can go home to my cat. I'm like, oh, no, don't talk about the cats. It's like, she had a walk-off that is like, she's like, do I sound crazy? It's like, we're just going to not talk about this. Maybe a little, but it's okay. I understand why she feels a little crazy. 10 minutes ago, you were making out with this guy and he was giving you gifts. Like, did he give you the gifts because it was his last chance to do it? Like, I don't understand.
It felt weird, but I do. Man, she would thrive in paradise. Actually, you wouldn't even see her. Yeah. She'd just be on the beach collecting rocks the whole time. They're like, where's Parisa? And she's just making her little castle with her rocks. Get her to the beach.
Yeah, I do want to see more of Parisa. She was a fun character. I was very surprised. Natalie, I wasn't as surprised. She had like a moment with him where they didn't kiss. And that's you mentioned this before. Like, if you're not getting a kiss now,
or something. It was like a really. It
time to go.
Yeah, it was. I think I was a little surprised because they did have a connection, but he's still like kind of pecked her and was like, I want to give you my all in this moment. But maybe he was just literally meant in this moment because it's going to be our last one.
Right. So what do you rank the drama? What do you think? What would you give a drama rose or drama score on a scale of 1 to 10 roses? How many roses of drama? How many? What's another? What is it like the mask from the Phantom of the Opera? How many Phantom of the Opera masks would you give? Yeah.
I guess I would say like this was a solid like 6.57 because I do think there was a lot of drama, but I'm waiting for like the big level. Like I'm waiting for like a Colton fence jumping. Like that's a 10. I need the workup to
Thank you for
that
giving
moment.
Thank you for giving context to this because I was like, this is a pretty dramatic episode, but it was definitely understated. And it's like, also like when we started this episode, I told you I was just confused. I'm like, I know that they're all angry. There's nothing.
I just don't know
like,
why.
It's kind of like, I'll say as a man, it's like you're dating someone and you're getting like this ice cold, like, and the person you're dating is mad and you're like, just tell me what you're mad about so that I can
Please
fix this. And it's like, maybe there's no fixing. Like Men are generally fixers. Like, I definitely walked into this episode like, yeah, this is above my pay grade. I think this is like...
You know what, Kay? You take this one because
Kay, explain to me what is going on.
He did before this episode. Jared's like, you're gonna have to lead me a bit because this drama is.
I was like, this feels like, high school woman's locker room shit that I have no idea about. Because I'm just sitting there like, I was as confident as Juliana was going into that argument with Carolina, and I walked away as like befuddled as Juliana walking away from that conversation with Carolina. And the best part of that argument, they came back and Carolina was like, "You want to talk about it?" It was like, okay.
You want to bring it? Because she was just, oh yeah. She said all the girls were like, so where'd you guys go? And Juliana, probably embarrassed, we just went outside to chit chat. And
right.
Juliana's like, we can tell them if you want.
Right. You want to get the group involved? The whole group that you said has an issue with me? You want to bring it up here? You seem to think the whole group has a problem. She did not break face. And then the minute like Grant comes back, the water works and no Rose. Like that was kind of like, I don't know. I
genius.
I think her and Maria are like from the same phylum. Like
and Kat,
I think,
remember Kat from Paradise?
Yeah,
I also
Kat
think
too.
Kat is in this realm of contestant character.
Yeah. Like, and I don't know why Maria spoke to people more than Carolina does, or maybe, but it does feel like a similar energy.
Yeah.
So, listen, we did it.
That was it.
That's our episode.
If you guys haven't checked us out on YouTube yet, make sure you go to the YouTube channel from Betches. All of our episodes are live on YouTube. And sometimes we have little clips and everything. So make sure you're checking us out there. You can follow us on Instagram at Always On. You can follow me at K York City. And Jared, you have some big news coming up. So what's the tour dates?
So if you're this week, I'm leaving. My 40th birthday is on Friday.
Oh my God.
Yes. And on my 40th birthday, I will be on a flight to Auckland, New Zealand.
So cool.
To do, I'm doing a show in Auckland. I'm going to be in Melbourne, Sydney. I added a show in Sydney. Sydney sold out, which is great. So we're going to add a second show. So if you're in Sydney, because I've gotten a couple messages from Sydney people like, please get me can you get me in? So we added a show. Newcastle, Brisbane, Adelaide, and that's it. We took away the Perth show. The Perth show didn't sell any tickets. The Sydney show sold a lot of tickets, so we added one to Sydney, took away the Perth. And then I'm going to the Great Barrier Reef. I'm going to go stay. I'm going to spend some money and stay at a nice hotel. I'm going to have one of those.
Let's go.
Yeah, so it's all happening. I'm very excited. I've never been to Australia. I don't know. I've mixed emotions about the whole thing. So I'm hoping I can get on with you to do the show in whatever way we can do it. We're gonna figure it out. We'll tape from.
Hey, I don't have a job. We can.
Yeah,
we'll go crazy.
Make it happen. So you'll be seeing, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see me from some stunning locales because it's gonna be summertime for me.
It is
summertime.
Summer.
I'm flying to summer. So. And then I'm coming back. I'm going to be in Morris Plains, New Jersey. What a reality check. I come back to New Jersey.
Sydney, back to Jersey.
Rochester, New York. I go to all the winners. And then Nashville, Tennessee. So jaredfreed.com. I'm working on new material from the special. And go watch on YouTube. We want you to check that out. And there's more to come. So,
all right. See you guys next week.
Boom.
The Betchelor podcast is produced and edited by Jazz Zapatos. Social media by Candice Maniga and Samantha Bush. Guest booking by Shanice Kelman. Be sure to follow The Betchelor at Always On.